Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Really do appreciate it. Hope you're having a fantastic day as always. So, as you know, Caitlin Clark did an interview for that Time Athlete of the Year that has set the world on fire, shall we say. By the way, comment below if you'd like me to dig in and comment on some of the quotes from Caitlin Clark in that interview because it has gone absolutely insane what it has caused. And I've been watching all, paying attention, gathering my thoughts, writing things down. So I just hadn't decided. I figured I'm going to dig in, but I hadn't decided when or what exactly I wanted to talk about because, well, it is pretty wild. Now, one thing I'll say in conversations I've had with people, other people not in doing a video here, and it leads into what we're about to talk about, is that a lot of people were like, "Okay, she said that, it's over," and I said, "No, no, it's not. This is the beginning." This is the beginning. Her comments, which were, a lot of what the league wanted her to say. I said, I know Caitlin Clark has a good heart, and she probably thought she was saying a wonderful thing and putting it to rest. But what has happened is now it's going to be everywhere. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get worse because anyone who understands what is happening is here knows that the people that hate Caitlin Clark, it's never going to be enough. They're never going to be satisfied. It's always going to want more, more, and more. And so now she's going to be asked about it all the time. And it's an excuse to, like this conversation we're going to talk about, ask everyone else about it all the time. So it's going to be in your face. As a Caitlin Clark fan, as a WNBA fan, it's going to be in your face even more now, which I know is wild, but it is sadly the truth. So we've got the Washington Mystics owner here being interviewed and talking about the Caitlin Clark Time Athlete of the Year stuff. And, last time we talked about a WNBA owner talking, it was the Atlanta Dream owner. And we know how wild and crazy that was. So we're going to dig into this. I want you to know I probably am going to stop a lot more often than I used to, but that's just because she throws like in just almost every sentence is a wow, did she really say that moment? So, but that also means my comment should be relatively short, right? I'm just like, okay, she said that. Here's my reaction to it. Boom, we'll move on to the next one. Just to let you know, I know some people get all worked up on that stuff. So let's dig in.
It has taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this
All right, Steve, real quick. I just want to open that. Yeah, okay. 28 years of losing millions of dollars every single year. But also to that point, growing a, I know basketball wasn't invented, but a women's professional league in America is new. So it's also kind of like a sport. That takes a long, long time, and it is very difficult. Even the NBA, you go back, Bird Magic, the story about how they saved the NBA when they came into the league in 80, 81. In the 70s at that time, the NBA finals were on tape delay late at night. That's how much the NBA was struggling, and it had already been around far longer than the WNBA is at this point. And they didn't have NBA sugar daddy money to keep them going, right? We can talk about those two soccer leagues in America, MLS and NWSL, and what they've had to go through to grow and the struggles. And NWSL is like the fourth or fifth women's league since the 90s. All the rest of them failed before year 5. The NWSL is the first one before it. Like that's normal, is what I'm saying. Anyway, let's go. But you can already hear where we're going with it, with that mentality.
this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized. And I
Okay. Wow. So, ooh, something clicked. Yeah, okay, your brain is full of mush and quite possibly leaking out of. What clicked was Caitlin Clark. That is the something that clicked. Just so we're clear, I mean, it's really pretty simple. The fact that you're an owner in the WNBA, you should actually be disqualified from owning a franchise in the league if you don't know what it is that clicked this year. But I can tell you it's not the draft of the players, right? Here we go again. It's the rookie class. It's Caitlin and Angel Reese, blah, blah, all that nonsense. No, it is Caitlin. It is Caitlin Wade Wilson Clark. Okay? Say it. But again, just showing you, here we go down that road. Like I said, it's just going to more fuel to the fire. It's going to get worse. They're never going to stop gaslighting. I just love them so much. Hey, let's not forget the Mystics moved to a bigger arena twice to get over 20,000 fans at higher ticket prices. This for a team that typically draws 5,000 or fewer. I mean, they averaged 6,500, but that included 2 of the 20 games, which is 10%. That's not insignificant, being over 20,000 thanks to Caitlin Clark. Man, they all want to benefit from her, right? Atlanta Dream did the same thing. They moved, they got their record number of attendance, and then they talked about how it was just because of the Atlanta Dream. So, Miss, if it's all those players, why don't you move from your tiny garage arena to the big arena for all your games, not just the Clark games, all of your games? Wow. And look, I hate to say it, but there's not a lot of talent. That's not really true. That's been the problem. That's been the bad product. To be blunt, I don't say that to be mean. It's just not an enjoyable product for people. They, in choosing sports, is very, very low on the list. They'd rather watch other things. That's just simply the way it is.
I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
There has been,
You
this
can.
phrase has been couched, hasn't it? The Caitlin Clark effect. Why do you think that has been the case?
Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen.
Okay. Just real quick. First, I wanted to back up to the other thing about the talent and stuff. Look, she mentioned the recognition. No one, this is again the entitlement mentality, and that they're at fault for that in giving this league millions and millions of dollars every year with no end in sight. Just say, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be media savvy. You don't have to do anything to grow your league. We're just going to keep you going. That does nobody any good. And no one owes any athlete recognition at all. That is just an insane entitlement mentality. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, she wants to be careful how she says it. Yeah, that's because she wants to say it in a way where she hopes gullible, nice people believe the Jurassic Park Triceratops level of BS that she's shoveling. As far as the media, that's wild because the media 100% on her side. That's why this interview is happening like this.
So many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night we read.
All right, before she moves, she's going to move into another thing. But again, same old nonsense. Oh, I need to learn to meditate. Blood is going to. You know how many talented athletes of all persuasions, ethnicities, backgrounds from all over the world toil away in minor sports and never get any recognition, and they suffer and work much, much harder than WNBA players? No one owes you recognition simply for being an athlete or an athlete that can tan more specifically, because let's face it, that is unfortunately what she's talking about. I mean, oh, should have. This lady is spewing a plethora of nonsensical and tired talking points. I mean, basically, she's saying that because of her feels in saying that these athletes deserve recognition, that means you're not giving it to them. So where do we go from here? Well, I guess you have to be forced to watch games and shout out these athletes and buy merch from other players, not just Caitlin Clark. This is wild. This lady is wild. I can't believe she's a functional adult.
Time magazine, where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have?
Wheat mother of all that is good and pure. That may be the absolute dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. Food. Why? It's Time Athlete of the Year. And you want to put the entire league, you want to give it to the entire league. I know where she's going with this, too. I know where she's going with this. This is going to be about butthurt feelings. I guarantee you that's where she's going with this. Wow. So, and by the way, in case some people want to call it out, in 2019, the entire U.S. women's soccer team got it for winning back-to-back World Cups in 2015 and 2019. This is nothing like that. That was a team, a national team. So it was the only one, right? Not a league, not a team within a domestic league like the NBA. It was one team that just finished winning back-to-back World Cups. It was historic. This is not like that. These things are not the same, to paraphrase the Atlanta Dream owner. And by the way, no one else has played a role in WNBA's increased viewership. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. We know where she's going.
Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear.
There it is. She's going to get into something else really quick, but there you go, right there. Lady, what are you in kindergarten? Seriously, have you never grown emotionally? I do not know how anyone can take this league seriously. You want to grow? Great, then we have to get rid of all of you. You need to go. You need to get out of the league and put an adult in your position because you cannot handle this. You do not have the emotional maturity to handle this. And this has been what we've seen from the entire league. We've talked all season about they need media training, right? Because this is exactly how they act like the media. They sulk and whine and cry and complain. They're completely unlikable because they are all still in kindergarten emotionally, right? For all of you that remember had kids, or maybe you remember as a kid and you get those issues where, you got a birthday party and the kid gets his present and doesn't want to share. And it's absolutely wild, absolutely wild. Here we go.
Stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing and their talents.
You mentioned Time Magazine.
Yes.
And
All right, before she asks the next question, you, Miss Lady, ma'am, you're that we are always talking about it. You are doing the dividing. Not a single Clark fan would ever bring up this stuff first. They always are simply responding to fools like yourself. I mean, I'm down with Morgan Freeman, who had the best solution. He said, just stop talking about it. But they can't because it's a moneymaker. It's a moneymaker. Sad but true.
Caitlin Clark has made a point of using that moment to say we need to celebrate the black players in the WNBA and what they have done, and credits them for being so much the foundation of the success of the league. How important is that? If it shouldn't have to be the case.
Yeah, she shouldn't have had to say that, but I applaud her for saying it. We cannot continue to operate because this division of racism is going to tear us apart.
Kathy Engelbert was criticised, wasn't she, for not being firmer in her condemnation of the racist abuse online suffered by the players. What was your reaction to how she dealt with that?
Well, I didn't want to think about it too much, but I think the players
Don't worry, no one will ever accuse you of thinking. I'm just saying. By the way, that stuff she just said before, I kind of actually answered that. She's the one doing the dividing. I mean, it's simple as that. It's people like this owner that is the reason Caitlin Clark felt, or her people, or whoever got into it, that she said that she had to say what she said.
were right. She admitted that she made a mistake in the way she phrased it. And I just think she could have been a little bit more diplomatic and understanding of what the landscape of what's happening out there. Because the WNBA is at an inflection point where we're starting to really go up. And I don't want us to lose that momentum. What is happening now is perfect. But as I've also told many, many of our players, I said, this is just the canary in the coal mine. We have got to be careful because we're now entering into a new political climate. We do not want to draw attention to ourselves in a negative way, to have anybody use it as ammunition against us as athletes.
How do you do that? What are your players saying to you about what they want to see happen?
We all need to sit down, and I think our leadership with our commissioner, she needs to sit down and even bring a psychologist in, I don't know, but talk to the players and how we resolve the issues that we're going through. Because not only what's going through with the WNBA is happening in society as well. We're seeing it more and more. From the Karens that you see on social media, this has got to stop. We need to have a healthier America, and more than anything, I want to have a very healthy league.
Wow, talk about absolute gaslighting nonsense. If you lose the momentum that you gained from Caitlin Clark, it is because of you. All the people saying this stuff. I mean, look, you're even going to lose Clark fans because of Clark's Time interview. And no, I don't like everyone's like, oh, they're just awful people who weren't her fans. No, there are, and I get a lot from people. Okay, people, if you want to put them in a box politically, the left and the right, who are just fed up with this nonsense. We deal with all of this day in and day out. Sports are a time to unplug, get away from all of that, and enjoy sport as entertainment. And this takes away from that. And all these very reasonable people want is to stop interjecting politics and culture wars into sports. That's it. That is it. It is that simple. Anyone trying to make it anything else, full of it. Look, she's the league. You can't afford Caitlin Clark fans to walk away. But right now, a negative way is the only way you're drawing attention to the league. Like I said, every single league player in the league needs media training. I know they do it like in the NFL and the NBA. It's really smart to be doing that. Um, Stop insulting the fans. And as what she did here with the Kathy Engelbert thing, I mean, they're talking about, if you remember, they're basically talking about trolls, right? People will find some idiotic troll comment meant to do exactly what it's done. Probably an actual Clark hater, to be fair, a lot of them, but they want to then blame it on because that's what they do. They'll take one troll account and all the players get all upset, and it's the whole fan base that's responsible for that one troll account, which is nonsense. Stop the entitlement. We've seen that from this lady through and through in this interview. Stop that. Stop the lying and nonsense, right? Remember Kennedy Carter and the bus incident that never happened? I mean, we could go on and on with this, but ma'am, look, you single-handedly just made your league a lot less healthy. You made your league a lot less healthy by saying the things you just said. Do you understand how frustrating that is for people like myself that actually would love to see the WNBA do well, that would actually love to see them put a good product out there, have likable athletes that are getting endorsement deals the way they do in other sports? It's fantastic. I tell you what, I've seen it On the soccer side, for those of you that don't know, I talked about this before. I'm a big soccer guy. Played, ref, coached youth soccer for like 12 years. Was supporters club member for the U.S. Women's National Team. It has been amazing to watch the journey of the NWSL, and I love everything they've achieved, and they've earned it all. They've earned it all. They didn't have a sugar daddy, and it has been fantastic to watch. And I tell you what, the interviews I see with NWSL players, very, very, very different from the ones I see with WNBA players. Very different. Uh, but I'm going to leave it there. She said so much stuff this was longer than I intended it to be. But as you, I'm sure, just saw from what she said, from what I said, there was a lot packed into this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below on any of it. Um, I usually get around to checking, scrolling through comments like the next day or the day after. So, I do my best to try to, at the very least, read them all. I can't possibly respond to all of them, but I do try and read every single comment. So, thank you so much once again for going on this journey with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to leave it there. I will talk to you later.